Good day to everyone. This is Asta Shetty from class 9th A. I'm here to explain you the introductory and the earlier part of a new chapter, chapter number 4, climate. So now when I say this word climate, there's another word which pops in our mind as quick as a snap, and that word is weather. Many people think that these two words are same, but no, there is a huge difference between them. Though these are climatic conditions which are composed of the same elements, but there is a difference, and before going to the difference, let's see what does our textbook say about them. According to our NCERT textbook, weather is a state of atmospheric condition over an area at any point of time, while climate is the total sum of weather of an area over a large period of time, which is more than 30 years. So these lines of textbooks are kind of very confusing, right? We don't understand it very often, and that is why to help you out with that, I have come up with an example. Let's take an apple. Okay, so the apple is sliced into two halves. Okay, now here you can see that these are the portions. This is the content of apple, right? This is the content of apple. Now let's divide this content of apple into more small portions. Okay, just let's subdivide it. Okay, and these portions, as you can see, there are some patches. There are some yellow patches, some dark patches. Now when I eat this, okay, so there are only some small patches which are yellow in color, which may be sour in taste, although it is sweet. Okay, so when I eat it, I'm gonna say my reviews are gonna be like, the apple was sweet enough, though it had some sour taste, but that was at minimal point. So how can we understand weather and climate with this example? The small portions, the divisions that we made, right? The portions that we made, which also included the the patches. These all were weathers of a day or maybe a week. Okay, and the whole apple, when all the portions were made together, were assimilated together, they formed the climate of the place. But what did the patches tell? The patches can be considered as the sunny weathers, in which it is very hot. Okay, so let's consider that. So the portion which is sweet, that can be considered as mild days, windy days, where it's very warm, it's warm enough and it's not even too cold. Okay, so when I'm taking average of all these weathers, I'm finding the apple, which is the climate, very good, very sweet enough. So with this example, I think your concept of weather and climates are quite clear. Now, talking about the difference. Weather, when I'm talking about weather is for a short area, for a small area and over a short time. Weather fluctuates very frequently. So in the morning it is sunny, by the evening it can rain. It just fluctuates in a day. But when talking about climate, no. When we are talking about climate, it is a pattern which is observed for more than 30 years. So it does not fluctuate. It is the same. Okay. So now let me tell you what are the elements. As in the starting I said the elements are same. Let me tell you what are the elements of which climate and weather are made of. The first one is temperature. The second one is atmospheric pressure. The third one is wind. Fourth one is humidity, and the fifth one is precipitation. Due to the revolution of Earth and due to the rotation of Earth around the sun and around its axis respectively, there is a particular pattern of weather which is fall on the earth, which is in a year. Okay, so now I can tell you that from the month of March or April to May, June, it is very hot due to the sunlight. Okay, the sunlight is too much, so that it becomes too hot, and the pattern of the weather in these months is same. So that's why all these months together are termed as season. So this season is called summer season. Now talking about the next one, from June to September, it rains in most of part of the country. So that is why it is called as monsoon season. And while in the next, that could be October to March, it is very cold, and that is why it is called winter season. So this is how it is divided. Now talking about climate. So the climate of India is usually referred as monsoon type, and this type of season is found in South Asia and Southeastern Asia. So now when I say that the climate of India is monsoon type, does that make sense that every part of the country must have equal amount of rain? I said that climate is taken over for a large area, but there are many variations at many parts. Let us consider it a normal day at Rajasthan. The temperature can rise up to 50 degrees Celsius. While at the same moment in Jammu Kashmir, the temperature can be minus 45 degrees Celsius. And while at the same moment, the temperature in Thiruvananthapuram can be 22 degrees Celsius. So much variation, right? Talking about precipitation, firstly, precipitation can be in various forms. Okay, so first it can be in the form of rain, snow, hail or sleet. We know all these three: rain, snow, hail. But what is sleet? Sleet is the rain which have ice. So when the snow falls, it melts, and that's what it forms sleet. Okay. So this was the various forms. In the upper Himalayas, the precipitation is in the form of snow. But while rest of the country have received the rainfall in the form of rain or hail or sleet. Okay. Now talking about the quantity. In Mawsynram, which is in Meghalaya, it usually, if you take average, it has rainfall for about like 400 centimeter. But while when I'm talking about areas like Thar Desert of Rajasthan or even Ladakh, the rainfall is just of 10 centimeter or even less than that. That's a huge difference in the same country, right? Now talking about the duration, the time. So in most of the part of the country receives rainfall in the month of June to September, and that is why it is termed as monsoon season for us. But while areas like Tamil Nadu coast, they receive rainfall in the month of October and November. So much variation in a single country. In general, the coastal area experiences a less seasonal contrast of temperature, while the interior of the country, the more the distance increases from the sea, the more they have to face, there is an increase in the seasonal temperature. Why? It is not given in a textbook, but let me explain it to you in a minute. Okay, so when I'm talking about sea, so if we compare sea and land heats up faster and land cools down faster. While seawater takes a lot of time, to get warm, to get hot, to get cool. So that is why the coastal areas which have sea around them, which is the peninsular area, so these areas do not face that that fluctuating temperature. But when I'm talking about land area, the interior part of India, it faces such kind of things. If we talk about rainfall, so in Mawsynram, Meghalaya, it rains so heavily, but when from the east we come towards the west, from the northern plains, we see that there is a decrease in rainfall, and there are more variations, and these all variation causes the types of clothes people wear in different areas, types of food they consume, types of house they live in, and there are many more on. Let's get to our new topic, and the new topic is the climatic controls. So there are 6 major climatic controls over any area. Let me read them out. The first one is latitude, second one is altitude, third one is pressure and wind system, fourth one is distance from sea, and fifth one is ocean currents, and the sixth one is relief features. Okay, so the first one is latitudes. So we know that the earth, it has been divided, it has been divided vertically as well as horizontally. When it is divided vertically, these lines, which are imaginary lines, that are called as longitudes, while the one when we are dividing it into horizontally, so these lines are called latitudes. So we know that the earth is not sphere and the sides are bulging out. We can say that the area which is near the equator will get more sunlight as compared to the poles. So this means that near the equatorial area, which means the tropical area, there the temperature would be higher as compared to the subtropical areas. The second one is altitudes. Altitudes means nothing but height. The elevation of any place is very high, so the atmosphere at that place becomes thin, and that causes a decrease in temperature. That is why you can observe that in summer seasons, the hill stations are still very cool because of the high altitude they are having. The third one is pressure and wind system. Pressure and wind system of any area depends on latitudes and altitude. The next one is the distance from the sea. As I previously explained you what is the distance from the sea, how it makes changes, because land heats up faster and cools down faster. Yes, so the coastal area, it will not have that fluctuating temperature. But when I'm talking about interior part of India, it will have, because land heats up faster and cools down faster. The next one, the fifth one, is ocean currents. Ocean currents along with onshore wind affect the climate of coastal areas. So this is a very hard line, but let's see what does onshore means. Onshore are the winds which come from the sea towards the land. Okay, so if the ocean currents are warm, the weather of the coastal area would be warm. If onshore winds are also there and the ocean currents are warm, then the temperature, the weather of that coastal area would be warm. But if the ocean currents are cold and onshore wind is blowing through there, so the weather of that coastal area would be cooler. So this is how it affects. Now the fifth one is relief. So relief play a major role in climate of any area. So these are basically mountains which act as a barriers for hot and cool winds, and also they play a major role in precipitation in a particular area if their elevation is quite high, and if they can act as a barrier for the clouds which are carrying rain. So if they act as a barrier, then the winds are pushed back again and they have to rain, they have to, the precipitation should happen in that particular area. So relief plays a very important role. Now we're going to study about factor affecting India's climate. So these all the factors which we learned, these climatic controls. So how these climatic controls are playing an important role in the climate of India. So the first one is latitude. So if we say the important latitude, Tropic of Cancer, which is above the equator, it divides India roughly into two halves. The part of the country which lies from the Tropic of Cancer to equator lies in the part of tropics, while the one which is between the which is above the Tropic of Cancer lies in subtropic areas. So India has both types of climates, tropical climates as well as subtropical climates. Now talking about altitudes, so north areas and the northeastern areas, we are having huge mountains with an average elevation of 6,000 meters. India also has a vast coastal area and where the maximum elevation is of 30 meters. In the Central Asia, it's very, very, very cold. The Himalayas do not let those very cold winds from Central Asia to enter India because of their height of elevation, and that is why it is not that cool as compared to the area which is in the Central Asia. The last part is pressure and winds. The climate and associated weathers are governed by the following atmospheric conditions. The first one is pressure and surface winds. The second one is upper air circulation, and third one is western cyclonic disturbance and tropical cyclones. So, India lies in a region where the northeasterly winds blow. Northeasterly winds, what are they? The winds which blow from north to east. Okay, so this wind originates from subtropical high pressure area. So this is a cool wind. Okay, so it is coming coming from this north to south. Okay, but there's another force which is called as Coriolis force, which has the work to deflect the directions of wind. Now this is northeasterly winds, so it deflects to right, and then this wind gets at a place of equator where there is low pressure area. It is coming from upward. There is no sea. It is dry. It does not contain any humidity, and since it causes less rainfall or even no rainfall.